The rook slides from the first rank over to reinforce the second, defending against potential threats and preparing for tactical play. This move cleverly shields your king while increasing control of key squares near the opponent's pieces. The opponent doubles up by bringing their rook across, taking aim and threatening a capture. Responding with your queen maintains pressure and keeps their options limited. Nicely done, this exchange sets up an important tactical sequence. Now their knight jumps in, instantly attacking your queen, looking for an aggressive breakthrough. This does add tension to the position, but also exposes their knight. What's the strongest way to capitalize on this? You swing your bishop across, striking at the heart of their defense and using your piece's synergy to force a tactical win. This move reveals how coordinated attacks can overwhelm even a seemingly solid formation. Rewatch to see how each piece works together. Black's rook slides over to defend, but it leaves the bishop and king slightly vulnerable. This move is meant to shore up the back rank, but might create tactical possibilities for white. Is there a way to pressure the defense? You bring your queen directly in front of the king's shield, targeting the f4 pawn and threatening multiple lines. This move leverages your queen's power and sets up a dangerous attack, forcing black to make tough choices. Well calculated, your pieces now coordinate perfectly. Black tries to diffuse the tension by moving the queen aggressively, overlooking white's threats. Their move opens an opportunity and weakens their king's protection. How can you capitalize in this moment? You finish the sequence by capturing the bishop with your queen, exposing the king and winning material in a decisive fashion. This brilliant tactic succeeds because of the pin and overwhelming pressure. Rewatch this to master queen coordination. Black pushes their pawn on the king's side, trying to disturb white's structure and possibly open lines for a counterattack. However, this pawn move weakens the dark squares around black's king and is a bit slow given white's pressure. The position is tense. How can white best exploit these new weaknesses? You shift your rook to team up with the queen and apply direct pressure to black's pinned bishop. This move threatens to capture the bishop with devastating effect, making sure black must respond carefully. Excellent coordination, you're starting to crack through black's defenses. Black takes with the bishop, attempting to release the pressure. By doing so, they open up the back rank even more, which makes the king more vulnerable to tactics. There's still a tactical shot hidden here. What's your next strike? Your queen swoops into the heart of black's position, landing on the back rank for a powerful check. Not only does this leave the black king no safe retreat, but it also lines up an unstoppable threat with the rook. Combining heavy pieces on the 7th and 8th ranks is textbook attacking chess. Black tries to shield with their rook, blocking your queen's check. But this defensive gesture comes too late. Your forces are already perfectly coordinated for a decisive finish. Checkmate. The rook slides up the back rank, sealing victory as the king is now completely boxed in. This puzzle highlights how piece coordination and attacking the back rank can dismantle even stubborn defenses. Replay this puzzle to master finishing skills. Your bishop jumps onto the opponent's back rank, delivering a sudden check that forces their king to respond. This unexpected move targets the weakened king side and sets the stage for a tactical sequence. By choosing this spot, you're directly threatening the king and disrupting their piece coordination. The opponent's king moves to the corner, escaping the check but leaving their position vulnerable. This retreat opens up the dark squares and shifts the balance in your favor. Notice how their king is now cut off from central safety. Excellent opportunity for attack. You bring your knight forward, lining up a devastating fork against the exposed king and threatening to capture key material. This sharp move stacks multiple threats and leverages the king's withdrawn position. Because the knight now attacks both the king and potential targets, your tactical awareness shines. The king tries to evade the knight's fork, but now their defenses crumble. Thanks to your sequence, their king is wide open and a decisive material gain is inevitable. This puzzle demonstrates the power of coordinated attacks rewatched to master exploiting weak kingside defenses. Black brings their rook down to the 4th rank, threatening your h-pawn and keeping their king shielded. This bold move also attempts to keep control over the board, setting up defensive resources. However, the focus on the h-file opens up possibilities elsewhere. Are you ready to seize the momentum? You push your pawn forward, initiating a breakthrough on the king's side. This advance is powerful because it not only puts pressure on black's pawn structure, but also forces their king to act in the coming moves. The position is opening up nicely played to create tension. Black captures with their pawn, accepting your challenge and temporarily gaining material. Now their king is even more exposed, and their pawn structure is less solid, setting up an opportunity for a decisive attacking sequence. What's your next play to keep control? You play your pawn to f6, ramping up the attack. This is a forcing move. Now black has limited good responses, and their king is vulnerable to threats along the file. Excellent decision as you keep the initiative and limit black's options. Black swings their rook back to the center, looking for counterplay and defense. The rook attempts to control the d-file, but leaves the king side dangerously open. What's the best way to convert your advantage here? With your final push, your pawn advances to f7, the king is boxed in, and black's pieces are cut off. This move is decisive, creating an unstoppable passed pawn. The power of active play and pawn breakthroughs is on full display. Be sure to rewind for the full tactical sequence.